So, with the recent balance patch, Fire received a huge buff, which sparked a boost in popularity, and in doing so, a lot more people have experienced using it and going against it. Of course, that means players have discovered attacks they like and dislike. In this video, I'm going to cover Fire's most controversial attacks and teach you how to counter them. When against Fire, first thing you need to do is identify which style of play they prefer. Fire has two main ones. First is long range poke, mainly consisting of fire laser, bow, and blast, if they manage to close the distance. The second one is close range brawl, mainly consisting of charge bolt, shield, and orb. A simple explanation for each one is long range poke wants to keep a lot of distance between you and him, slowly chipping away at your health using charged attacks. The way to counter this is to be more proficient at poking him, or you need to be more aggressive and not allowing him to charge attacks, as it takes around 4 seconds. But be careful not to get in fire blast range. Close range brawl's game plan is to close the distance quickly using charged firebolt or the new fire shield, then attacking with one of their explosive attacks, so you need to worry about not getting hit directly, obviously, but also the AoE from their attacks. Most players don't realize that charged firebolts are explosive. Now, the way to counter this is to realize that Fire does one thing and does it really well, being on offense. So you need to humble yourself and respect the strength of their attacks, as trying to match them with a different element will probably go poorly. What you need to do is plan a counterattack. For example, as they blast in, you smack them with an earth wall, or an ice wall, or maybe even a bubble. It doesn't really matter what you use. Hitting them in the air will stop their momentum, leaving them vulnerable for attack, as Fire has very little defense. You need to repeat this process, as it's up for the Firebender to adapt. A general game plan against Fire is that they are heavily reliant on charge attacks, like bow, laser, blast, etc. So you need to be offensive when they have spent their charge attacks. Allowing Fire players to freely charge attack throughout a round will significantly lower your chances of winning, as even one charged bow shot with double edge deals 8 points of damage. But let's not confuse blindly rushing in as being offensive, as you will surely eat a couple of fire orbs. Even a simple earth wall or water wave will do the trick. Countering popular attacks. First up, charged firebolt. When the fire user is attacking with this, you need to play defensive and respect its strength. They deal a lot of damage and is AoE. So force the fire user into spinning it, then go on the offensive to prevent him from charging more. Firebow. If you notice your opponent likes to use bow a lot, you need to have a more grounded playstyle, as being in the air makes you predictable, especially if the fire user is counting dashes. Also, the charge projectile is very fast, so sometimes it might be a good idea to pre-dash instead of relying on reaction time alone. Fire laser. This attack is very strong, as it deals great chip damage, is hit scan, meaning there is no travel time, and has great range. Ideally, you could pressure the user from ever charging it, but that's not always the case. A couple of techniques that work great against it is charge wall, air shield, and the newly added fire shield is great, as when damaged, it will blast you out of range of the laser. But if you can't summon something in time, make sure to hold block, as it will negate most of the damage. Do not try to dash away. Speaking of the new fire shield, it's busted, like extremely strong at the moment. It mitigates damage, can parry, does insane damage as a non-charged attack, is AoE, and there's currently a bug that prevents players from losing stamina if they decided to spam it. So honestly, there's not much you can do against it, but I will say it does detonate off of any damage. So spamming low damaging attacks is a great way to detonate it before it strikes you, and could potentially blast the fire user away, giving you much needed breathing room. But worry not, as the devs are aware of the strength and are currently looking at possible ways to nerf it. And in my opinion, the last attack that needs to be talked about, Fire Orb. Now, this depends if the fire user is running Scorched Earth, as that passive increases the power of Orb greatly. So let's assume they are, and right off the bat, you need to keep your distance to at least 20 meters, as it's difficult to consistently land orbs from that range, and staying close is extremely dangerous, as even its uncharged form does a lot of damage, and is AoE. Also, they recently buffed it so that it explodes on impact rather than bouncing, so it's also dangerous to allow fire users to stay above you, as all they need to do is have one explode close to you. Let's recap. Fire is very agile and deals high burst damage, which forces them to play aggressive, but they have little defensive options, so unless there is a massive gap in skill levels, you need to respect their strength and focus on playing more defensive and counterattacking, and only going on the offensive to prevent them from charging attacks, which takes around 4 seconds. For Earth, I recommend using a lot more traps, as hitting one could easily lead to a kill. For Water, you need to use your mobility to dodge their attacks and snipe them from a distance, rather it be Icicle or Wave Stasis, and of course the newly nerfed Dagger Sniping. For Air, just do whatever you want, as almost your entire move list counters Fire. But in case you're new to Air, Air Shield blocks everything but Fire Bow, Air Blast will destroy every projectile except Bow, and also detonate charged firebolts in their hands, and Tornado also blocks everything but Laser. God, I hate it. But that's everything I got for you guys, for now. Whenever they add new attacks or mechanics, I'll be sure to let you guys know. But alright, I'm done yapping. Have a good one. I'm a man of my word. This is the Gaming Demon getting absolutely bodied. There's your shout out, man.